Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I've got my Game Week 17 team selection for you guys. It's good to be back in the fancy Premier League content. The World Cup has provided us with a really nice break, some really exciting football going on, but now it's going to be straight back into the fancy Premier League stuff with the team selection and the Game Week reviews for you guys. So just before I get into the team selection, let's just have a refresh of where I was at in Game Week 16. So, the end of Game Week 16, I was on 52 points, 882 overall, and overall rank, of 1.3 million, which isn't great, to be honest. It was a bit of a poor start to the season, so definitely looking to improve in the second half of the season. The aim is to try and get to 100k, being the top 100k. Being in the top 10k would be incredible. That's like the long-term goal. But yeah, just cracking inside the top 100k or beating my last year's rank of 35k would be a great start. Also, getting inside the top million would be a good start to maybe a good start to the first game week. Hauls there coming in from Ward, Darwin, Martinelli gets some points as well, and Trippier. Obviously, Tony there on the bench with 13 wasn't great, but who saw that coming against Man City? Feels weird talking about that given it was a week ago. So let's get straight into the Game Week 17 team. So here is the team at the moment. It's all covered up at the moment. I'm going to be revealing each player one by one, but instead of going position by position, which you might see on most other channels, I'm actually going to go in order of least surprising to most surprising player. I'm going to keep you on your toes, maybe have some, raise the drama a little bit, see if you guys can guess which players are going to be in the team. This team, it's a 3-4-3 formation. I've just been able to afford this team. It's the exact team, the exact money I had in the bank to afford this team. And also I've bought some players. I've owned them for a while, so they're at a cheaper price. So yeah, obviously the most obvious player in the team is, of course, Danny Ward. Yep, the £4 million goalkeeper is obviously going to be in the team, going to be on the bench. Unless I was going for rotational goalkeepers, I'm always going to have Danny Ward in the team, even though I'm not confident about Leicester's clean sheets. Although he did have a big set of clean sheets, didn't he? Before the break, he got, I think, 5 clean sheets in a row, something like absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, he's just a great bench option. Of course, I'm joking, guys. The most obvious player in the team is, of course, Erling Haaland. With the captaincy armband as well, no point going against Haaland. He's had a month-long break. He's going to be so hungry for goals. It's a great fixture against Leeds. Even though it is away, I think he's definitely going to be getting in the goals. I'm expecting at least a brace from Erling Haaland, and there's no point risking going against him, to be honest. The next, not really surprising player in the team is Mohamed Salah. I've got to have a Liverpool attacker in there somewhere. I'm really hoping that Liverpool are going to be in the goals. That game against Aston Villa, it's an interesting one because Aston Villa might be without a goalkeeper at the moment. Emi Martinez is out injured. He's out on holiday, and their substitute goalkeeper is injured. So not quite sure who's going to play in goal for Aston Villa. It'll hopefully be a bit of a weakened team, and I think that Salah can definitely get a goal in that one, back to the form that we know he's all capable of. And the last truly obvious player in the team is Kieran Trippier. He's pretty much in everyone's teams. He's just such incredible value, the highest scoring defender in the game at the moment. I also bought him for 5.1 million. He's now 5.9 million, so I have a lot of value tied up in him. And there's no point me losing that 0.4 million by selling him. So in the team, he stays. A nice fixture against Leicester. Good fixtures coming up. But yeah, he's just such incredibly good value. There is no point going against him. Just always seems to get points, even when Newcastle don't win. But yeah, those 3 players, Haaland, Salah and Trippier, probably the most obvious players in the team. The only ones you could say without a shadow of a doubt are going to be there. So I'm going to move on to the bench. Diop makes it into the team. Yeah, probably didn't see that one coming. I wanted a Fulham defender in there for their double coming up. They've got some nice fixtures. But yeah, he's just going to be a bench player for the double. Essentially, he's probably going to be sold as soon as we get to that point. Yeah, just a nice player to have there. That's essentially it. I'm not too confident in Fulham's defence, but the fact he plays 2 games just doubles the chances that he gets a score in that 19 fixture where I'll need him. Moving on to the next bench spot, Somerville is on the bench. Incredibly cheap, incredibly good value potentially if he keeps starting for Leeds. He should be starting for Leeds given how insanely good his form was before the break. And yeah, even though it's a horrible fixture against Man City, the fixtures coming up for Leeds are really, really good after their Newcastle fixture in game week 18. So yeah, he's just a really nice asset to come off the bench if someone doesn't play. Now, the last player on the bench, you're probably going to be a bit like, huh? Is Williams, but not Nico Williams, Brandon Williams. Now, hear me out. The reason is because he's 3.8 million and he gives me the exact amount of money to make the rest of the team. I would love to have 0.1 million and upgrade him to Bueno, who's a starter for Wolves at the moment, looks like an infinitely better option, but I don't actually have the money to get him. So at the moment, Brandon Williams is in the team. He's not going to see any game time in my team. He might play for Man United because Dalot is injured at the moment, and if Wan-Bissaka falls out of favour, then yeah, he might see some game time. But I think we can confidently say that Wan-Bissaka is better than Brandon Williams. So yeah. He's there in the team. I could start him just in case he does play for Man United. But yeah, he's not there for points in the team. He's there for affording the rest of it. Going into the forward line, Darwin Núñez is in the team. I've doubled up on the Liverpool attack for that fixture against Aston Villa. Darwin really didn't prove much in the World Cup, so I think he'll be hungry for goals. He gets so many more chances in that Liverpool team. I think he can definitely he can be there for a tap in. He's such a chaotic player as well. I just love watching him play, so he's a really fun asset to have when I'm watching the games. Yeah, gotta have him in the team. He's just too irresistible, and he scored 2 goals in a friendly recently. So yeah, I'm just hoping he can keep that scoring up, and I think he will play all the games as well, given that Jota and Diaz are still out. I think it will be that front three still of Salah, Darwin and Firmino. I'm hoping that it's a front 2 of Salah and Salah and Núñez, and then Firmino drops back in a bit more of a supportive role, because that was really working at the start of the season, and I get the best out of my 2 Liverpool attackers. Moving on to midfield, I've got Marcus Rashford. I haven't actually got Martinelli in the team, even though he's a similar price. I've gone a bit different for Marcus Rashford. I know he's in a lot of people's drafts for those good set of fixtures against Forest and Bournemouth coming up. And yeah, he was in electrifying form in the World Cup. He was really at his best. This might be the best version of Rashford we've ever seen. And yeah, he also scored a goal midweek against Burnley. So yeah, looks like incredibly good form. I want him in my team. Moving on to the defence, we've got Dalot in the team. Now, obviously, he's injured, so probably won't be playing. If we get any confirmation that he's starting for Man United, then I will be keeping him, because I've actually got value tied up in him. I've got 0.2, I think, because I can sell him for 4.6 million, but at the moment he's 4.8 million, so I will lose a bit of value there if I sell him. So yeah, he's currently in the team, but if he is injured, that will probably become Ben White to cover the Arsenal defence, who I also think is a great defence to be covering. And he provides incredibly good value. If he's going to play, he might be rotated a little bit, but yeah, I think Ben White should play at that right back spot, maybe centre back, but yeah, preferably at that right back spot. He's 0.1 million more than what I can sell Dalot for, so I would have to sell Somerville, downgrade him on the bench to afford White. But yeah, it'll be one of the two. I think both those defences stand a good chance of getting a clean sheet. Moving on to the goalkeeper now, we've got Kepa. I really wanted to cover Chelsea in some way, despite the fact I'm not too confident on them. They really didn't look good before the break, and I don't know, I just don't have a lot of confidence for them to pick their feet up after this break. And Bournemouth, maybe we're underestimating how bad they are, underestimating how good they are. But I think Kepa can get a clean sheet there. I really wanted to cover the Chelsea team in some way, because the fixtures are just so good. They've got the double coming up as well. And yeah, I could always get rid of him if he doesn't start, if he's injured, but I wanted to cover Chelsea in some way. Moving on to the midfield, again, is Andreas, who was in the starting lineup. Bet you were surprised that he wasn't on the bench like he is for everyone. But I really rate Andreas' chances of getting points in all 3 of the next games against Crystal Palace, against Southampton, and in his double coming up. So yeah, I thought that I actually would like to play Andreas in all 3 of these upcoming games. So why not? Why not play him for all 3 of the games? And rather than keeping him on the bench and potentially missing out on his points, just start him. And hopefully I gain that over other people, and people can have the same agony that I've had all season when I've benched him for his hauls. So yeah, I just rate Andreas' chances getting a return against Crystal Palace. The last 3 players I consider probably the most surprising players in my team. I have gone with Callum Wilson up front. Not Martial, not Mitrovic. I wanted to cover the Newcastle attack in some regard. And I think Wilson's just a really nice differential with a high upside, as we saw in that game. I think it was against Aston Villa, wasn't it? Where he got 2 goals and 2 assists. I think he'll be really contributing to the goals in that Newcastle side, who have been scoring for fun recently. So yeah, just a really nice little bit of a different pick, I feel. I've just got a good feeling about Wilson getting some points in his upcoming games. Now, the last 2 picks, you've probably noticed a high absence of Man City players, given how good their fixtures are. I haven't gone with Cancelo in the team. I've actually gone for Akanji. Now, the reason being that he's so much cheaper than Cancelo, and he's allowed me to afford the last midfielder in the team. And I think a lot of people have been saying that Akanji might get rotated, but if you look, he's actually played almost every single game that he's been at the club for. I think he missed the first one, but apart from the first game, he's played every single game. I think he's as nailed as Cancelo, genuinely. I know that Man City have had their injuries in the defence, but I reckon I really want the Man City defender, and if I can get in for 5 million, I'm absolutely laughing, aren't I? He looked really good as well in the World Cup. He did score a goal, I believe. I've got a good feeling about Akanji playing. Pep seems to really like him. He can use him in either a right back or a centre back position if the likes of Diaz, Laporte, Stones, Walker, any of them are looking tired. I think Akanji's going to get some really good game time. I'd like to put him in the team. I think he's one of Pep's favourites. And the last midfielder in the team, if you're doing some quick maths trying to work out how much money might be left in the team, I have got De Bruyne as the last midfielder. That's right, I have 3.5 premiums, if you count Darwin as half a premium. I've got 3.5 premiums in the team based on how much money I've been able to draw out of the bench, and by starting Andreas, and by having a relatively cheap defence. Yeah, so even though I'm not going to be captaining the likes of Salah and De Bruyne, I think they're the 2 best midfielders in the game. They'll be the 2 highest scorers in the game. And if I can just do that by getting Andreas, and yes, not having the likes of Trent, Reece James and Cancelo in the team, I think I could be onto something. I don't think big at the back is as good as it used to be. I don't think there's as many goals from the defenders. So yeah, I've gone big in midfield and attack. Certainly very big in attack. But yeah, De Bruyne's in the team. I think he's going to be getting so many assists for Haaland. I think he's really going to come into his own in the second half of the season, get back to the best form that we know he's at. Obviously, he had a very poor World Cup. But yeah, I think he's going to be feeding Haaland. I think he can rock up with a goal as well. I won't be captaining him, but he's much more nailed for game time than any of the other Man City midfielders with that potential to get points. I'm just not too certain about having Foden in the team, and I'd love to triple up on Man City. So yeah, that is the team. It's a bit different to other people's you might have seen. Got a few different picks there. A freemium draft as well. Obviously, the big misses are the likes of Kane isn't in the team. Almiron is not in the team. Cancelo and Reece James are not in the team. Probably the biggest names I'm lacking there. So I'm hoping all of them can get blanks and I can get some lovely points. So that just about wraps it up for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of my team, and let me know what your teams look like. Have you gone for some interesting different picks here and there? Are you playing it relatively safe to kick off the start of the season, hopefully get off to a good start? And where is your rank right now? Drop your rank down below in the comments. Just it gives me a good idea of how good the people are watching my content. Maybe you should be the one giving me advice, because my rank at the moment, 1.3 million, are definitely looking to improve that. I'm just hoping to provide my story and provide some difference to a lot of the other teams that are out there. Maybe not the best team on paper, but it's my team and it's a little bit of fun. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next FPL video.